Welcome to Today at Keeneland for this Sunday, October 18th. As we'll wrap up this week of racing, we'll have 4 more days of racing for you next week here for the Keeneland Fall Meet, and then we'll turn our attention to the Breeders' Cup, which is coming up quick. And speaking of the Breeders' Cup, Gabby, we saw a runner yesterday here at Keeneland Racecourse that has stamped her ticket to the Breeders' Cup in Venetian Harbor.
That's right. Her trainer, Richie Baltus, was mentioning going into the race that if all went well, that they would be considering the filly and mare sprint. Well, all went well as she did get the victory going wire to wire. So we could see her. It's highly possible that we're going to see her come Breeders' Cup weekend. Yeah, we'll take a look back at that in just a second. But today, 9-race card. We've got a lot in store for you. Over $150,000 in the Pick 6 carryover, 2-day carryover here at Keeneland. So make sure you turn your attention to race number 4 as that will start the Pick 6. And we've continued to see big payouts in these multi-race exotics. I believe it was $26,000 for the late Pick 5, a 50-cent minimum wager, which concluded with a good runner last night in the nightcap, a good price horse, rather, as we even had the favorite in Venetian Harbor taking the Lexus Raven Run. But going back to yesterday, great undercard racing per usual, and then it all capped off with that wire-to-wire victory in the Lexus Raven Run Grade 2 company with Venetian Harbor popping right out of the gate and flashing that speed that we've seen from her when she's at her best. Now, overall, I thought that was a very good race, even for the number 4 Finite, who finished second, the Steve Asmussen trainee. I think she could do some big things moving forward, maybe in her 4-year-old season, but it was all about Venetian Harbor yesterday in the feature.
All right, before we dive into today's card, let's go to WKYT for the latest on today's weather.
Meteorologist Adam Burleson here in the WKYT First Alert Weather Center with a great forecast for that Keeneland race day. We may see a few showers out there around noontime, maybe just after, but overall dry conditions for later on this evening before more storms come in for late tonight. But generally, temperatures going to be into the mid-60s. You see more sunshine. Those temperatures could warm up a little bit more, but otherwise, those dry conditions with a few rain chances sprinkled in there shouldn't be too bad for race day. Enjoy the day and good luck with those races.
Well, the rain has arrived a bit sooner than expected. In fact, we've had a light mist behind us here in the open, so we'll see if that continues and where we're at. But I know that the rain, if it's here now, perhaps it will not be here later, but we will see. It's definitely on the cooler side, but a bit moist out here right now at Keeneland Racecourse. All right, let's take a look at our entire card selections presented by TVG. And look at this. We agree quite a bit.
And the 1st, the 2nd, the 7th, that's about it. Hopefully it's a good day for both of us.
Yeah, I hope so too. And make sure that you download the Keeneland Race Day app. We also agree in the 6th race as well with the 3. Make sure you download that Keeneland Race Day app, and you'll have all of these picks at your fingertips on your smart device, as well as comments that we've written up for you over the course of the handicapping. Let's take a look at the social media. At Keeneland is where you can give us a follow on Facebook, at Keeneland Racing on Twitter, at Keeneland on Instagram, and TVG2. For those of you not joining us on TVG2 and you want access to TVG2, make sure you download the Watch TVG app. That's accessible on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, as well as Apple TV. You'll get both the networks, TVG and TVG2, in HD, as well as the TVG Racebook and a ton of on-demand content, which is only going to ramp up once we get to Breeders' Cup week. So let's go ahead and download that TVG Watch TVG app right now on your favorite connected device on your television. The featured event today is race number 8, the Rudin Riddle Dowager Stakes, Grade 3 company at 1.5 miles. Can extend these fillies out to this route distance 3 and up. And Blame Debbie, Gabby's coming back quick off of her win just 16 days ago here at Keeneland Racecourse.
Yeah, she was very impressive in that race. And, you know, with this race, Scott, there are no scratches, but it is a 6-horse field. And I think the one thing that could be advantageous for Blame Debbie is that at this distance, I don't think she's going to be too far off of it. She seems like she can be a little bit tactical, so that's going to be key for her, and clearly she's in good form and in good condition out of that last race. Otherwise, she wouldn't be here for Grand Motion.
100%, and that's why I go to this filly. She was the part of that race, that Kentucky Downs race, which we talked about as we were preparing for her race back on the 2nd of October, which she won. She's part of that race in which she was disqualified. It was a controversial disqualification. What isn't these days? as far as the comments that we see in social media. But the bottom line is she responded with a very good run. She beat a good filly in Prairie Wings on the afternoon, which we'll take you back to. She's my top selection just 16 days ago here at Keeneland. Good listed turf course. Probably going to get a similar type of turf course today with the rain that we're getting right now here in Lexington, Kentucky. But once she got out into the clear under Rosario, it was game over. Manny Franco gets the opportunity here today. I'm expecting the same exact sort of trip from this filly as she kicks on here with a bit of pace that day. She'll have to probably sit a little bit closer than what she did in this mile and an eighth race as they go to a mile and a half today. But I think that they have found a wonderful spot to pick up a graded stakes victory with this nice filly by Blame Debbie. To me, she'll be probably the heavy favorite in here, 2-1. Less than that is my expectations when it comes to the price for her come post time. The second choice is Siberian Iris for me, for Richard Mandela coming out for that Kentucky Downs race. We know that the distance is not going to be a problem with this 6-year-old mare. She's only won 3 times. She's made over $275,000, but she is a distance horse through and through, so you've got to respect her. And then the full horse Always Shopping for Todd Pletcher, the Rapoli homebred by Awesome Again out of their stakes winner, Stop Shopping Maria, winner last time out at Gulfstream Park, has been here at Keeneland for a local workout. She's going to step up and trip to a mile and a half here for the first time, but she does have a victory on grass, and that was last time out in the Monroe Stakes. She'll have to step it up, but this is a solid race led by Blame Debbie, in my opinion. 2-5-4 are the 3 that I'll go with in the Dowager today.
Scott, I actually did go to the 4 Always Shopping, and I agree with you. She's 5-2 on the morning line, and Blame Debbie is 2-1. I think there might be a little bit more of separation once we get closer to post time. I think Blame Debbie is probably going to be pretty short, and even Siberian Iris, because she is coming out of those stakes events, even grade 1 events. But I like Always Shopping in here because I think she could have the tactical advantage. At this distance, I really do think she's going to be able to control things on the front end. Now, Blame Debbie is probably not going to be too far behind her, but maybe she could steal it today under Tyler Gaffleone. We'll show you her last race, and this was a little bit of a different running style. She stalked from behind the top 2 horses who were dueling on the front end, and she just came on late. You can see Bienville Street, the second place finisher, the 1, and the 5 Kelsey's Cross there as well. Bienville Street was a long shot at 11-1, but she still ran really well, and you can kind of see that the pace stayed intact, and this filly just absolutely ran them down. So I think she's a little bit better than, just a listed stake at Gulfstream Park. I do think that she can step up today. She did beat Kelsey's Cross in that race, Scott, who, sometimes you like to look at horses that they beat in these fields and ask yourself, well, what did they beat? Well, Kelsey's Cross actually finished second in the grade 2 Hillsborough to Starship Jubilee earlier this year at Tampa. So yeah, it was a pretty quality field, even though it was a listed stake. So I'll take a shot with her on top. The 2 Blame Debbie for many of the reasons that you mentioned. And then the 5 Siberian Iris, who many people might argue that she's actually the class of the field. She's gone against grade 3, grade 1 competition several times in the past. I just don't know if the race is going to set up for her. She looks like one that likes to stay from off the pace and make that one run. And with this compact field, I don't think she's going to get the right type of pace scenario.
We talked about most. Let's touch on another. Naomi Broadway, sent out by Paulo Lobo. Here he is with Tom Leach.
Feature race on the Sunday card is the Rudin Riddle Dowager Turf Marathon for the Distaffers, and Naomi Broadway supplemented by trainer Paulo Lobo. What gave you the confidence to make that decision?
She was coming back from a long layoff from Brazil, and then she run good in Indiana. And then after the race, I didn't nominate her, but after the nominations closed, she worked last Sunday at Thoroughbred Training Center, and I loved the way she breezed. And she's a mare that she's begging for a mile and a half, and winter is coming. Let's take a risk.
If the race could set up ideally for you, how would strategically it set up?
I think so. I didn't see the PPs. Probably I don't know about the pace it's going to be, but she's coming off the pace, and then probably she's going to have a nice race on Sunday.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Paulo Lobo will saddle Naomi Broadway, supplemented to the grade 3 Rudin Riddle Dowager here at Keeneland.
All right, that should change some opinions there. As late supplement, begging for a mile and a half. We'll see how she fares. She will be one of the longer shots in this race, where I think we touched on those that will get a majority of the money. That is race number 8, the Grade 3 Rudin Riddle Dowager Stakes at 1.5 miles. Post time for the feature today is at 4:57, part of the Pick 6. Don't forget, $150,000 carryover coming into the afternoon. Time now for our key races of the day, races in which Gabby and myself have pinpointed as far as our best opinions of this afternoon. And Gabby, you're going to go early in the card with race number 2, a $20,000 claimer. Non-1 is a 2 lifetime, 7 furlongs the distance for this event.
You can even see from the morning line, Scott, that there's not much that separates 4 horses in this particular field. 3-1, 5-2, 2-1, 4-1 on the inside 4 horses. But I will give the preference to the number 2, Irish Willow, here for trainer Dale Romans. And we'll show you her last race at Churchill Downs. She stretched out in her second start to 1 1/16, and she managed to make the lead that day under Joe Talamo. It was a really tough beat here. She was defeated a nose in the end as the favorite by Ginny B. But I think she could get maybe a similar type of trip here today. She's a filly that does possess speed, and what I mostly like about her, Scott, is that this is her 3rd start off of the layoff. She came back off of a pretty long layoff from March of 2019 to September of this year. She ran at 6 furlongs. She faced Miss T2, who was a very nice filly for trainer Bill Mott. Got a class relief last out at 2 turns, and now she cuts back in distance to 7 furlongs. So I really think she will be sitting on her best race to date, and that best race would probably win here. So I'll give her the slight advantage over the field. The 3 gesture you have to respect for Tyler Gaffleone, Mike Maker. She makes sense here. I just wonder if she is at her best at 7/8. And then the 1 Forever Noah, she'll be speed from the rail, but you and I have said this time and time again, that rail draw, whether it's 6.5 furlongs or 7 furlongs, it's really tough for these horses to overcome.
It is. You have to be just lightning fast and dash away from them and be that much better than them, because they're going to come around you. They're going to engulf you, really, when you're down on the inside, and you're in a tough spot when you draw the rail. So I'm with you on that. We have a very similar opinion in race number 2, which does start the early pick 4 today here at Keeneland Racecourse. I'm going to jump 2 races ahead to race number 4. This is a maiden 30 claiming event going 1 mile on the main track for the 2-year-old fillies. This, by the way, is the race that starts the pick 6 with that big $150,000 2-day carryover. It's a $1 minimum wager. And Spy a Star is 7-2 on the morning line. I like horses that come back quick. I just trust these trainers, especially high-level trainers that have confidence in bringing a horse back off of short rest. You know that they must be doing good, feeling good back at the barn, and they're not going to have a workout in between because they've had a recent race under the belt, which you're obviously going to get more fitness out of that than going out and working in company or even by yourself, obviously, in the morning. So Spy a Star is the direction that I go in here. And let's go back to her race on the 8th of October here at Keeneland. It was in the nightcap. The filly She's Happy was the favorite. That's who ends up winning this race for Nick Zito. And this filly got some play. She's going to be routing for the first time in her career. And in these sprint races, she was just outrun in each of them early on. So always the mindset that you have to have when you've got a horse coming from sprint races to route races. The pace shouldn't be as quick. They should be able to sit closer, show the same sort of late run, should be able to have themselves in a better position. That's the mindset that I have with Spy a Star, with Corey Lannery in the saddle. Again, coming back in just 10 days from October 8th to October 18th. She'll be the top play and likely favorite in there. The number 6 horse is the second choice for me. That's Betrata for Kenny McPeak. Takes the big drop down in class after debuting on the turf at Saratoga, going long. And then the number 4 horse, Kentucky Pride for Rusty Arnold. Same thing. Takes the drop down in class. Tries the dirt here today, daughter of Giaponti, and gets Julian Leperoux to commit again. So 1, 6, and 4 in race number 4 for me. Started that pick 6 here today at Keeneland Racecourse. Then I'll take us right into race number 5, leg 2 of the pick 6. This race starts the late pick 5, Scratch the outside 4. Baker's Bay is the morning line favorite at 4-1, which just goes to show you how wide open this race is. But I'm going to go to the number 8 horse. That's Falkirk for trainer Ian Wilkes, a gelding by Cairo Prince, who has 1 victory, and that was 2 starts back at Ellis. The follow-up race was solid enough at a big price to finish second. And I think that they have just, with changing the tactics with this horse, you can look back in his form. When they were taking him back, or he was well back, he just had nothing left in the end. He just simply give up. But once they got him to commit to going to the front and showing some speed, he turned into a different horse. And this was the result of it, a victory in the end by a couple of lengths at odds of 18-1. And they used those same sort of tactics at Churchill Downs in his last race, pushed him forward, got a good result at a big price. So I just think that they have turned the light bulb on by changing tactics with this gelding here, and I think that you'll see the same thing here this afternoon over the given the ground that he'll have to run over. That'll be one thing that he does have to show us that he'll be able to do. But the 8 and then the 5, Baker's Bay, a horse that comes off of a very nice victory at Kentucky Downs and gets to stretch out here today, set up more than ready for the Phipps stable. And then on the outside, the 11 horse, Carmelito for Anamea, a horse that has shown some ability in his 2 starts at Kentucky Downs. Previously had rattled off 4 consecutive really nice races down at Tampa Bay Downs when with trainer Owen Hardy. So a good race. It's a very wide open event. That might be the most challenging of these late race exotics. But obviously, this is part of the pick 5. But then the pick 6, you're going to want to have some coverage in race number 5.
That's my best angle of the day.
Really?
Which, yeah, we'll get to a little bit later. I have a very specific angle, and I like it. So maybe it'll help you out a little bit.
You get very specific.
I do.
Route to sprint to route to sprint?
I do. And it has nothing to do with statistics today.
Okay,
I will
good.
at least let you know that. All right, I'm going to take us to the 7th race. It's a $50,000 non-winners of 2 lifetime claiming event. A mile and a 16th on the main track. Scratch the 1, Surf and Turf. The favorite is the 3, Sharecropper at 5-2. I respect that horse, but, you know, I don't know where his speed has come from in the last 2 starts. This is a horse that really didn't show anything on the dirt before. So I wonder if he's going to kind of revert back to that running style now coming back to the dirt, or if that speed will translate to the main track today from those turf events. I like the 7, Motagali, as the top pick here for trainer Chad Brown. I was even considering singling him, but ultimately I did use 2 other horses in the late pick 4. We'll show you his last race at Ellis Park. I thought it was a fine performance. He showed speed. He was the beaten favorite in that race, but he was defeated by All West, who has been competing against 2 other than Allowance Company as of late. And in that race, the 3rd place finisher, Sagaponack, actually came back to win an allowance race next. So horses who finished behind him came back to be a factor in allowance races. So I do think that was a classy group of horses. But if he's not going to win an allowance race at Ellis Park in the middle of the summer, Scott, he's probably not going to win an allowance race this time of year at Churchill Downs or at Keeneland. So this just is a logical spot for this horse, and I think he should be able to be on the lead today for trainer Chad Brown at Tyler Gaffalione. I like him best. I'll use the 6 First Rate, who I think will offer a little bit better of a price than Sharecropper at 5-2. First Rate, he's coming out of a race where the winner closed from last. He was a little bit more forwardly placed in that race, and he drops, or he doesn't drop, but he makes a lateral move. So I'll use him there with Manny Franco, and then the 3 Sharecropper. You know, some people might look at it as a tricky race, but I really do think that Motagali is the best in there.
Let's dive into the Clocker reports and turn your programs, your pages to race number 4, your iPad, whatever you got in front of you these days and handicapping these races, to race number 4. That's where we go for our Clocker reports to start. And Bertrada in race number 4 is the number 6 horse, the daughter of Violence for Kenny McPeak. Looked sharp in the local breezes. The trainer is 18% when dropping from maiden special weight in for the tag for the first time. So you've always got to respect that angle. And then in race number 6, Tiwanaku, did I get that right? I think so. 59-2 from the gates, 5/8 the distance. Well prepared for this race barn, 21% with 2-year-olds and 18% with first-time starters. So 6 in race 4, the 6 in race number 6. We've had back-to-back days with big payoffs in the late pick 4, a 50-cent minimum wager, so we encourage you to get involved. And Gabby, you, as always, have the honors as far as today's late pick 4.
All right, and we start off with the 6th race, and good thing that we just got that Clocker report on the 6 Tiwanaku for Steve Asmussen. Definitely want to include that horse in the mix. He's the number 6 in the 6th race. Also want to include the 8 War Machine, a first-time starter who was actually a half-brother to Sweet Loretta, who won the Grade 1 Spinaway at 2 and was well posted to the outside. But a lot of focus is going to be on the 3 Beatbox, the $2.1 million purchase at the Keeneland September sale last year by Pioneer of the Nile, and is a half-brother to multiple Grade 1 winner in Guarana. So this one debuts for trainer Chad Brown, 3 Chimneys, and E5 Racing. You know, this horse could literally be anything. So excited to see him debut. But obviously we don't know what the other horses have, what kind of potential the other horses have in here. I mean, we have a horse that's out of a Grade 1 winning mare, Tiwanaku, with the 8 War Machine, again, a half to Sweet Loretta. And then the 5 Inspector Frost, who was bet in debut and really didn't show up that day, but I think might be a little bit better with experience and more distance and could be the pace of the race. The 5 Inspector Frost, a Godolphin homebred for Brad Cox. So 4 horses in there. The 7th race is that $50,000 claiming race, 3, 6, 7. For me, top pick is Motagali. The 8th race, the Grade 3 Root and Riddle Dowager, 1.5 miles on the turf. I'm using the 2 Blame Debbie and the 4 Always Shopping. And then in the nightcap, which is a maiden special weight at 7 furlongs, using the 5, 6, and the 8. I like the 5 Thrown for a Loop Best at 10-1 on the morning line, $36 ticket.
All right, we have the same numbers in race number 6, 3, 5, 6, and 8 to start with my late pick 4. For a lot of the same reason, which you mentioned, the $2.1 million Keeneland graduate Beatbox, the son of Pioneer of the Nile, the half to the 3-time Grade 1 winner Guarana. He'll be the headliner of race number 6, going 7 furlongs on debut. 3, 4, 7, and 9 in race number 7 for me. Sharecropper is obvious. The number 4 horse, Indian Counselor for Kenny McPeak, maybe not so much, but I think that last race was legit enough to think that he'll be able to produce a similar run against a similar company. The number 7 horse, Motagali, off the 3-month layoff and the drop in class for Shadwell has to be respected. And then Vassariano, the son of Bernardini on the outside off of his recent maiden win at Keeneland. The Dowager, I'm going to single Blame Debbie. Sink or swim with her. That's my opinion on the quick turnaround. I think that they have found a wonderful spot for her, and especially on the step up and trip. She's shown that these distances are not going to be an issue. If you can win, and I know she was DQ'd at Kentucky Downs, but if you can do what she did at Kentucky Downs at 1 mile and 5/16, she'll be fine at 1.5 miles today against this group. And then in race number 9, 2-year-old maidens rounding things out, 2, 3, 6, and 8. I thought that race was a bit of a challenge, and that's why I think that you need some coverage in race number 9 as well to close out the card. So looking forward to these late race multi-exotics here today. Pick 5, pick 4, pick 6 carryover over $150,000. We've got a lot to take in here this afternoon on a cool afternoon at Keeneland Racecourse. But time now for our best angles of the day. And I'm going to go multi-race exotic as well, not as far as a pick 5 or a pick 4, pick 3, but keeping it simple to one of the original, very popular wagers at the racetrack. It's a daily double. 2 races in a row. Pick them and get rewarded. And race number 2, the number 2 horse, Irish Willow, is the one that I'll lean on, along with Forever Noah down on the inside for trainer Chris Davis. Irish Willow, a good runner last time out, or good run last time out at a similar company for $20,000. I just think that these races are pretty straightforward. I'm going to pick 2 horses in the first leg, 2 horses in the second leg, and Irish Willow is the anchor of the ship that I'll send out in this double as we take you back to his race at Churchill Downs on the 27th of September. He was the even money favorite this day. You can see he comes off the rail and he gets involved in this tussle down to the wire, and he runs a good race. He just comes up a nose short. I mean, at this point in time, to think that he's going to be beaten a nose, it doesn't seem likely, but you've got to respect the battle that he put together here with the eventual winner. And I think that today, given the fact that you're not going to, every time that you take a step forward, you obviously have to deal with class droppers, which I don't think that there's a massive concern in this level here today as far as a class dropper. But you've got that horse, he's graduated, he's moved on, so he has to step up. So it's a revolving door angle that I have. Perhaps it'll just be his turn here today. His number will come up and he'll come through with the victory. So 1-2 with 1-4 in race number 3 for my best angle. That's a daily double wager here today. Race number 2, 1:39 is post time, Eastern time for race number 2. But Gabby, you're going to go to race number 5. I'm intrigued by this. What is the best angle here in this insanely wide open race?
Second time gelding.
Second time gelding.
On the 5, Baker's Bay, 4-1. Okay, no, but seriously, this horse clearly, it seems like he had some potential. There's a reason, he did not show up in his first 2 starts, but the Phipps and Shug McGahee, they kept him at that maiden special weight level. They kept trying things with him, whether it be on the dirt, turf, short, long, everything. They just have, it seems like a horse that's taken a long time to try to figure out. Going into his last race, he was gelded, at least on paper. And maybe that just completely turned this horse around. And sometimes it does. Sometimes that actually does work, Scott. We'll take you back to his last race at Kentucky Downs. It was over a good listed turf, but it was 6.5 furlongs. This horse shot out of the gate. He looked like a completely different racehorse last time out. He went to the lead, and then he got pressured late by Telephone Talker, who's in the Ramsey Silks, and other horses who were kind of closing in late. But there was no way that this horse was losing this particular day. And I just like the fact that he seemingly woke up. Now, on top of that, Telephone Talker, the second place finisher, came back to win a maiden special weight at Keeneland for trainer Mike Maker. So it was a productive race. This horse woke up as a gelding last time out, and I think he's completely turned things around. I don't mind the added distance today. I think when you look at 6.5 furlongs, sometimes that translates just fine to a mile or a mile and a 16th. So he's the best bet of the day. I'm keying him in the exacta over the 1, 3, 8, and 10.
Second time gelding. Have you ever used that with success? Has that angle worked for you in your career handicapping?
It's usually better second time gelding, not first time gelding. It takes a little while for them to
Can you tell me why? Do you have a reason?
Off air.
Off air, you'll tell me.
Get into specifics.
Okay, fair enough. Tom Leach's pick of the day. He's going to Forever Noah, 3-1 on the morning line for Chris Davis, the daughter of Constitution, who broke her maiden 2 starts back at Arlington Park on the grass, ran a good race on the main track here at Keeneland, and she comes back in just 11 days. A lot of horses making quick turnarounds here this afternoon, as we only do have 4 more days of racing left, so you're going to try to squeeze in as much as you can, because everybody wants to win here at Keeneland. That's the bottom line. So looking forward to the card here today. The Rood and Riddle Dowager Stakes is the featured event here this afternoon at 1.5 miles on the turf course. First post, 1:05 Eastern.
Established in 1982, Rood and Riddle Equine Hospital is a worldwide leader in equine healthcare, providing a full menu of specialties of services and treatment for all breeds and disciplines of horses, from the family companion to the high-performance athlete. Learn more today about Rood and Riddle Equine Hospital. Visit roodandriddle.com or call 888-773-4838.
The following is a presentation of the Keeneland Association.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Keeneland Racecourse. At this time, we ask that you would please rise in tribute to our national anthem. Keeneland is proud to recognize Randy Means from Culinary as today's Employee of the Day. Randy, congratulations.